Okay, so as a New Englander, how often do you find yourself fitting into following stereotypes? So first of all, bad driving. Do you find yourself being a bad driver?
Yeah, not terribly. I don't speed. I get impatient sometimes.
Yeah.
And I notice too, the thing, when you're a bad driver, it's okay, but when someone else is doing it, it's not okay.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have a license.
No, definitely.
So
Yeah.
especially too, 'cause I grew up in Rhode Island for a long time. And the driving there is so different from the driving here.
Yeah.
Like one of the things my dad said, on Cape Cod, people drive distracted but slow. But like in Rhode Island, on the highways, people drive fast, aggressive, and distracted. So
yeah,
there's that.
Definitely. Do you think we like fit? I've noticed the stereotype that like New England has bad schools. Which, like, what do you think about that?
Where I am now, I don't think there's necessarily bad schools. I think there's not great environments. But the high school we went to was a good high school.
Yeah, definitely.
So I didn't really have a good perspective on that. I know a big reason my family moved to the Cape was because the schools in Pawtucket were terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about the rest of the Cape, but I know like parts of Mass. I feel like it's very polarized. It's either schools are either really good or really bad.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, do you think okay, is there a difference in culture between like living in Massachusetts and Rhode Island? Because I know you're from Rhode Island.
Yes. There definitely is. In Rhode Island, I feel like everything was so close together, it was so urban, that there was more of a sense of community than there is on the Cape. Like there's communities within school and with the people you know.
Yeah.
But there's not really like walk around, go do something. There's always stuff year round. It's very different. So I think there's a stronger community in some places than especially on the Cape. Like during the summer, it's definitely a whole different boat. But during the winter, the other 8 months of the year, it's very slow and there's not much going on.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think that gun violence is more of kind of an issue in New England, like New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, or do you think it's kind of just like equitable and equal everywhere? It's an issue everywhere.
I think in New England, I don't think it's as big of an issue as a lot of other places.
Yeah.
Like down south, my grandparents live in South Carolina. All you need to buy a gun is a driver's license and to wait a week.
Yeah.
Like my grandpa got my grandma a gun for Christmas, and that's insane. My grandma does not leave the house. She can barely walk. And so I think it's part of it, it's so normalized in the cultures in other parts of the country than it is here. But I think in the last couple months, and especially the last couple weeks, it's like actually something that's creeping up, and not necessarily a real issue, but the anxiety and the thoughts of it are there.
Yeah.
Like there was that kid in Falmouth who was gonna shoot up. Can I talk about that?
Yeah, you can.
There was that kid in Falmouth who was 100% gonna shoot up the elementary school.
Yeah, T-ticket.
But there wasn't enough evidence and the report was false. And that's the thing that irks me, because the only thing they give us to tell us that we can do to combat gun violence is to speak up when it happens. And they just said nothing's gonna happen with this kid because someone speaking up wasn't enough, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And so it definitely protected people, but in the terms of like punishments and making changes, it's really counterintuitive to like what they're telling us to do.
Yeah, definitely. And that kind of leads me into the next question, which is like being a recent high school graduate from, a pretty good school in New England, like I think it was number 3 in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
How much did the threat of or the idea of a school shooting or just gun violence in general concern you on a day-to-day basis? And that has that like shifted into like do you still have those feelings in community college?
I know we had one very minor incident at our school that like wasn't actually a thing,
Right.
and that didn't bother me at all because like being so close to it, you like knew more than what people from the outside knew,
Right.
and you knew like there wasn't actually any real threat of anything. It was just two kids mad at each other.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I was thinking about that. Like in community college, I don't know if it's the different environment or because of what's happened recently, but there's definitely more of like a fear. Like I have a class that it's like in the basement, it's one room, there's one door, and like that's kind of freaky.
Yeah, but that's terrifying. Yeah.
And two, I think the community college is so much more diverse, and I don't know as many people or know as much as you do in high school. So there's that kind of thought of less information and knowledge but it's not a terrible anxiety, but it's just a thought that creeps up on you while you're there.
Yeah, definitely.